Last month's webinar, we gave you an overview of AWS Marketplace, and today we will highlight the value and show you how to sell your products on AWS Marketplace and get the quickest return on your investment. Before we get started, I'd like to mention that all lines are muted, but we encourage you to write in your questions during the session, and we will address them at the end of the presentation. So without further delay, allow me to introduce our guest speaker, Barry Russell. Barry is the head of business development for AWS Marketplace, and we're very pleased to have him join us today. So Barry, welcome, and I'll pass it over to you now.
Awesome. Thanks, Celia. And thanks for everyone for joining on this Tuesday morning. Appreciate the opportunity to talk to you a little bit about AWS Marketplace. If you attended one of the summits in New York or San Francisco, you heard similar information that we gave during the Partner Pre-Day. If not, then this will be an opportunity for you to learn how to list and sell your products on the AWS Marketplace to AWS customers. So today we're just going to kind of cover a bit of an overview of Marketplace, what it is, and some updates in the growth that we've seen so far in 2013. We'll talk about some of the benefits for you, the technology partners and customers that use the Marketplace. A little bit of a case study with one of the ISVs that lists in Marketplace, Jaspersoft. And then Scott Goddard on our team will take you through how to list in the AWS Marketplace. Before I get there, I wanted to give an overview of the AWS Partner Network. They've given us the opportunity to present this webinar to you. In short, APN is our global partner program. It's where our AWS professional services, technology and consulting partners sign up and register to deliver the different competencies that they offer in helping either companies migrate to the cloud or creating solutions that live off of AWS and are available to customers in the AWS cloud. And you can see on the left-hand side in the box the two types of categories that partners fall into today. And those are consulting partners under APN and technology partners on the right, or product companies. Under the consulting partner, we have a successful and growing channel reseller program that is led by Dorothy Copeland's team. Would encourage anybody that's interested in learning how to resell AWS services to get in touch with either Dorothy's team or directly through the APN channel. And then we have authorized government partners that work with our public sector teams to deliver solutions for both federal, state, local, and education-based customers. And then on the right-hand side, we have two different types of technology partners. We have marketplace sellers, which we're talking about today. Those are customers that list, companies that list their products on Marketplace for sale to customers. And then we have direct-to-connect. Those are technology partners that deliver solutions off the AWS cloud that customers can take advantage of. On the right-hand side, in the bulleted section, you'll see some of the benefits. Partner webinars, the ability to run and host partner webinars and run events tied to AWS. Inclusion in the AWS Partner Newsletter. Access to the APN portal, which gives all sorts of technical guidance white papers, architectural case studies, reference diagrams, etc., for delivering solutions. Online training, a marketing toolkit, account planning and management, as well as PR support for doing the through marketing that you might do with your own company. Okay, so moving on to what is the AWS Marketplace? Simply, it's AWS's online software store. It is a market where customers can search, find, and then buy software that's pre-configured to run the AWS cloud. Today, we have close to 800 products across a wide variety of relevant industry categories. You can see on the right-hand side in the graphic, this is a snapshot image of the AWS Marketplace. It's literally an online software store where customers can go and choose a category, such as big data under software infrastructure, and find software providers that list their products for sale in the AWS Marketplace. And we'll talk a bit more about how customers can take advantage of those products. Most of the products that are in the Marketplace are enabled with a feature called one-click, which allows the customer to deploy and buy the software with the simple click of a button after choosing a region that they're interested in deploying in, and then have the software literally up and running in a matter of minutes. One of the questions that we've gotten is, well, I've heard that software is only for testing, proof of concept, not necessarily for production, and that's simply not the case. There are a wide variety of different types of software that are offered in different types of licensing models. For example, some are offered as both free and enterprise version, where a customer can try the software in a proof of concept without incurring a software charge, simply the EC2 charges, and then deploy to an enterprise production version once they've completed their pilot. The titles that are listed in the marketplace are both for IT and business use, and as I mentioned, many of them come with a full enterprise production license attached to them that are able to be purchased and deployed using the one-click feature. And then lastly, we have customers of all sizes purchasing software and using software from AWS Marketplace. Literally from the largest of large Fortune 50 customers who have deployed production systems using AWS Marketplace, all the way down to SMBs looking to take advantage of the fact that they don't have to spend capital on the deployment of the software and associated hardware in their own data centers. They can take advantage of the AWS cloud, find the software they want, and seamlessly deploy that software alongside of EC2 and have the software literally up and running in a matter of minutes. In one example, I'd point out, we had a Japanese firm that deployed a popular data analytics product. They first deployed that product using a pilot or proof of concept, using a version of the software in the marketplace. They were able to go from pilot to full production deployment in under 14 days. What that enabled them to do was make a low-cost bet that the software they had chosen would work for the particular project that they were interested in running. And after a few weeks of testing, they were able to seamlessly move to full production deployment, deploying a few additional instances, knowing full well the cost, and without any additional sales cycles or steps in order to procure the software for production use. And then the next question we often get is, well, what types of ISVs, are there any that we've heard of? And the truth is that there are everybody from Gartner Magic Quadrant leaders in their respective categories to interesting startups that are challengers to incumbents in a particular vertical or space. You can see some of the logos here, and this is just a snapshot of the hundreds of products that are available in the marketplace, but it gives you a flavor for the variety and types of software that customers are buying today and deploying on AWS Cloud. And then a couple interesting stats that we wanted to share. Since January of 2013, so for Q1, customers using AWS Marketplace for their software needs are up 102%. Some of that has to do with the fact that we've added hundreds of products since our launch last year in April. As I mentioned, we're now closing in on about 800 products. And customers that come to the marketplace tend to convert over 50% greater than other software e-commerce sites that are in the public market today. What that tells us is that customers are not coming just to browse. We can extrapolate that customers who land on Marketplace are actually coming to look for a specific type of software, and when they find it, they move to the purchase and deploy phase. And then customers stick around. They use multiple products. Another stat that we have is that the usage of the software, the amount of time that software is being used in the marketplace is up almost 53% from the start of Q1. So it tells us that customers with longer-term projects, more intensive projects, are utilizing software in the marketplace for a longer period of time and often buying complementary products to go along with the first product that they purchased. The focus for our team in 2013 is really working with ISV technology partners to list paid versions of their enterprise products, their more popular suite of products in the marketplace, and to help them understand how to monetize those software offerings with the AWS customer base. So we think about, okay, well, what are the benefits for you, for the technology partners that list software? Well, first, we definitely lower the cost of customer acquisition or the cost of sales. And how do we do that? We are able to make your product available in the marketplace in a way that there's no price negotiation or license negotiation with the customer. So for example, if you take a software that's listed in the marketplace, the price is displayed for the hourly or monthly charge of that software. Your EULA is attached to the software that the customer buys and deploys. Those two components are automatically part of the purchase and deployment process in the marketplace. So there's no negotiation with the customer. In addition, we've removed part of the procurement approval process. Because the AWS account that the customer is using is a pre-approved procurement vehicle, the customer is able to typically buy the software in marketplace without the normal procurement cycles that a lot of us have had to deal with when selling enterprise software. Second, we get you on the cloud fast. Within a few weeks of registering and submitting your product as an AMI or an Amazon machine image, we have you up and running. We have the product vetted and tested that it works. We have a product detail page with information about your software product, how to get support, other interesting facts that you may want to tell the customer, listed in a way that is both contextual to the software product and searchable in the search tool that we have by applying different metadata tags. New products or versions, if you need to update a version or you're releasing another version of software, we're able to take you through that same fast process of listing the AMI as an updated or new version of the product, and then exposing existing and new customers to that new version through the product detail page. As I mentioned, we can literally take a customer from pilot to production in days. One software vendor that lists a large data analytic product told us that the typical deployment cycle, including hardware purchasing for their product, was about 8 to 10 weeks. In the marketplace, it is literally 6 minutes. From the time the customer lands on the detail page, clicks to buy, and spins up the instance of the AMI, it's about 6 minutes, and the customer has a fully configured software version up and running of that product. That's literally a magnitude difference between 8 weeks to a few minutes, and it really enables a broader reach of customers that want to use the product, as well as customers to make bets on projects that they're interested in deploying without a huge risk associated with cost of deploying that project. And then lastly, and perhaps really importantly, we handle all the metering and integrated customer billing. So our ISV technology partners that list products in the marketplace that have a fee associated with them, we collect the software revenue fee on a monthly basis. We handle all the metering and billing under the AWS customer account, and we disperse the funds back to you, our ISV technology partner, after we collect the fees for the software that's been used each month. So no need to build out your own cloud infrastructure, no need to build out a metering and billing system, and we have a curated and merchandise store where you can list your product to make it available to AWS customers around the world. The next question we often get is, well, how are you going to help me increase the customers using my software in Marketplace? And it's a fair question. And the first is that we need to attach to your existing marketing efforts. So this marketing flywheel that you've created for other sales channels, I want you to think of AWS Marketplace as another sales channel. And so we have to plug that into your existing marketing efforts, and then we can leverage some of the AWS properties and assets in terms of marketing and promotion of your product. For example, we can take keywords from your software product and insert them into our SEM or search-based marketing campaigns so that customers searching for a particular type of software in the cloud are directed to your search result and can then be redirected to your detailed listing page in the marketplace. We run customer incentive programs. We've had a couple that we've run both with SAP and Citrix as examples, where we've offered AWS credits for the AWS EC2 charges that accompany the software charge, while the software vendor offers their software free for a specific period of time. We launched one on April 15th, running through May 15th with Citrix NetScaler, where they're offering the enterprise version of their product for free, and we are offering the customer that uses that product for a specified period of time with AWS credits to help offset the charges associated with running that software off the marketplace. Then lastly, we have the ability to take your product, your AMI that's created, and launch it to many regions of the world. So where you have different marketing campaigns, perhaps in different regions, we're able to give you global reach instantaneously to the AWS customer base and allow you to create targeted marketing campaigns depending on the region of the world that you're going after. For the customer, the benefits are numerous. Probably the most important one is they're able to one-click launch the software with that pre-approved procurement vehicle I talked about. No installation of hardware, no installation of the software. The software is pre-configured to run on the AWS cloud. The appropriate operating system and EC2 instance is attached to that AMI. Really allows the customer a seamless experience when deploying the software. Minutes instead of weeks. And one benefit customers have told us is that they can quickly try software without a huge investment, without a huge capital expenditure. They can try a piece of software for a project, and if it works, immediately move to production deployment. Everything that happens in the marketplace is included on the customer's bill. So if a customer uses a software product for $1 an hour and they use 100 hours, we will charge them for that at the end of the month as a separate line item for that specific product. We'll collect that money alongside any EC2 charges or other AWS services that the customer has run. And again, we'll disperse a majority of the portion of the proceeds of the software back to the ISV. And then lastly, in terms of purchasing, the feedback we've gotten is that they love the fact that there's a listed price that they can see and factor into the cost of the project that they're going to deploy. The license is attached to the AMI, as I mentioned. It's enforced with your EULA. It is the wording as attached to your typical prem-based or a hosted version of your product. The EULA is attached to that product listing in the marketplace that the customer agrees to. And then the entire model aligns with the customer's consumption of the AWS utility model. So where they're paying hourly or monthly for AWS services, they're also paying hourly or monthly for software charges now. We support 3 types of models of software listings for our ISV technology partners in the marketplace. The first I've mentioned is the AMI, or the Amazon Machine Image. The models that are supported there fall into 3 buckets. One is free. There are oftentimes when a software provider, whether it be an open source, provides the software for free and then charges the customer for support, or the product is simply free because it's a trial or limited production version for POCs and pilots. The paid version of AMI are typically enterprise version or full production deployment versions where there's a fee, an hourly or monthly fee associated with the cost of the software, and the customer gets billed, again, for both the AWS services charges as well as the software. Again, the EULA attached to your AMI. The second type, which also utilizes the AMI model, is BYOL. Whether the customer already has a license and is interested in moving to the AWS cloud instead of running on-prem, or a customer is interested in purchasing a perpetual license from you but running in the cloud, we make the BYOL product listing available in the marketplace. The customer clicks to buy the product as they would the model just above. The only difference is they need to come to the ISV technology partner directly to purchase a perpetual license and then return to the AWS Marketplace with a key or a code to start the instance of the software that they've deployed. In that case, we're only billing the customer for the AWS services. The transaction between the license sale of the software and the customer is handled directly by the ISV or the technology partner. And then the final model is SaaS, where a provider software is running an environment that is leveraging the AWS cloud. We list the SaaS offering as a detail page listing, the same as the other products in Marketplace. The difference with this model is that once the customer is interested in purchasing that product, they're redirected to the SaaS provider's website to complete the transaction and begin using the software in a browser or whatever means the SaaS provider has made available. In that model, we have no connection to the customer any longer in terms of billing the customer, and it doesn't allow the customer to take advantage of using their AWS customer account. One of the more interesting things that happened was the creation of a Redshift partner ecosystem with the Redshift team in Marketplace. When Redshift launched, we added a portion of the technology partners that launched with Redshift. We added their products to the Redshift category in Marketplace and tied the software products that were available to the customer's use of their Redshift service. And what it did is it created a seamless way for a customer to know that, hey, if I'm running Amazon Redshift service and I've deployed the software, both are aware of each other. So for example, I could deploy a data analytics product like Jaspersoft, a visual tool for representing the data that I've put into the Amazon Redshift service and want extracted into reports, analysis, etc. And the two are self-aware. And we've gotten great feedback both from the ISV technology partners as well as customers who like the fact that they're able to use both the software and the service seamlessly together. And if you go to AWS Marketplace, you notice that there is a Redshift category with a number of software vendors now listed that tie in directly to the Redshift service. One of the things that it did for Jaspersoft, who lists the product in the AWS Marketplace and also certified Redshift, was it gave them access to a dual customer base, not only AWS Marketplace customers coming in to buy software, but also customers that had deployed the Redshift service. And as a result, they've increased their customer count. Within the first 60 days, it was over 200 customers that were paying for and using their product. Pretty remarkable growth given that they just launched at the beginning of the year. Part of it was due to some great marketing promotion that they did around their product and some of the work that we did together on go-to-market planning. You'll note that in San Francisco, Jaspersoft presented with us on stage during the Partner Pre-Day, and they talked about why they're doubling down. Because this is such a low-cost, low-friction sales channel for them, they're really able to focus their efforts on building their software product and adding features and running some unique marketing campaigns to drive customers to deploy and use their product from Marketplace. And the tight integration with Redshift definitely helps that cause. So to summarize, when we think about what it is that AWS is doing for our ISV technology partners and customers interested in software, we are promoting Marketplace as heavily as we can through different outlets that we have both in public media as well as through things like our AWS blog and our search engine marketing campaigns that we run. As we promote the Marketplace, we have ISVs, technology partners that list their products for sale and use in the Marketplace, The ISV is promoting the marketplace as a sales channel. They're plugging us into their marketing flywheel and promoting their product, helping educate customers on how they can use AWS Marketplace to quickly purchase and deploy software without any capital. Once the customer finds the software, one-click buys the software, it's immediately deployed in the AWS cloud, again with the appropriate operating system and instance size attached. The customer chooses the region in which they want to deploy and the pricing model, be it hourly or monthly or different pricing depending on the instance size that they want to deploy. We then handle all the metering and billing. We collect all of the fees both for the AWS cloud infrastructure that's being used as well as the software service fees that the customer accrues in a given monthly period, and we disperse the software funds directly to the ISV into your bank account. And it creates a virtuous cycle of revenue where the more you promote the product, the more customers become aware of it, the more customers begin to use it, and the recurring revenue model, the monthly revenue model, begins to grow. Certainly the case for software companies that list multiple products or complementary products. They are able to take advantage of the growing customer base that is using AWS Marketplace to fulfill their software needs. And so with that, I want to hand it over to a colleague of mine, Scott Goddard, to talk about, well, how hard is this? How do I get started? And I'll caveat by saying the typical approval process is anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks, depending on the testing and vetting of the AMI that's produced for your software. It's a pretty straightforward process, and we do have a Get Started guide for best practices around building AMIs, which Scott will talk about. But he's going to walk you through the process of taking the next step following the webinar and listing your product with us.
Thank you, Barry. So getting started with Amazon Web Services Marketplace listing is relatively easy. First, you visit our website. It's displayed on the screen now, and then you will see the Sell on AWS Marketplace link. Go ahead and click there, and it'll actually take you to all of our prerequisites. On this page, you'll find everything you'll need to know to actually understand how you can list in the marketplace and determine what the best fit would be for your organization. If you click on the Prerequisites tab, it'll actually take you into the best practices for building a paid AMI. Most all of the information here is detailed as to what the next steps are in actually listing and building out a paid AMI. So once you understand what the best fit is for your organization, you can go ahead and select Seller Register Form, and this registers you with our workflow, and then we can start the onboarding process. It's relatively easy from here. We have a discussion around what the best fit will be for your organization. If needed, I could bring in an SA who can actually help you build the AMI and talk to the best practices for building that AMI. As we discussed earlier, we have the 3 different options to actually list your service. Once we determine what the best option will be, we can move forward with legal. If you choose a paid AMI, we can actually move forward with the W-9. And then all of our listings actually have a product form through which you will actually describe your service. And that's what you actually see on the listing. So that's generally all you need to do to get started. And to move forward, go ahead and send me an email at goddards@amazon.com, and then I can start the onboarding process with you. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to field them at this time.